Welcome to a brief tutorial on the EarthNetworks weather monitoring software. EarthNetworks is the vendor that Binghamton University has selected to provide real-time weather information for key campus users. This software program provides desktop software as well as a mobile application that can be used from anywhere you have a proper cellular wireless signal. This tutorial is going to be focused on the desktop application. However, most of the features and interfaces with those features are very similar in the mobile application. So a lot of the lessons learned from this tutorial will be applicable for that mobile application. The Office of Emergency Management is responsible for this software program and the contract with our vendor. And OEM works very closely with athletics and the sports medicine, Office of Sports Medicine to make sure our users have the features and the access that they need. So we're going to get started today with how to use the desktop application for EarthNetworks. And to get started, you're going to need to navigate any internet browser over to login.earthnetworks.com. And once you get there, you're going to see a screen that looks like this, and you're going to need to use a username and password that's been provided for you. The Office of Emergency Management can provide access to those who need it from most campus departments. However, if you're from athletics, you should be reaching out to sports medicine, as that office will be providing access to the appropriate staff who need access for that division. Once you have your username and password, you can go ahead and log in, and that will take you directly to what the vendor calls their Sferic Maps, and this is their real-time monitoring of weather. When you first log in, you're going to get a pop-up that if there are any active alerts based on your settings, those will pop up immediately and show you those alerts. If you have none, you're just going to get just a pop-up like this. It says there are no new notifications. So we'll go ahead and continue. And what we're looking at now is basically the screen that was up when I last logged out of the system. We're going to take a quick summary view of this system and how to set it up to get you started and how to understand what you're looking at. At the very top of the map, you're going to see the EarthNetworks logo, the Sferic Maps, which is the product name, and then a drop-down arrow that will give you several options. What this allows you to do is create customized views of maps, and then you can select between these customized views. I strongly encourage you to create multiple views because it's entirely too easy to have too many things shown on the map, so the map gets very cluttered, very busy, and it can be a challenge to read and interact with some of the data you're trying to see. So that's what I've done here. I've created different views, and these will allow me to really kind of pick and choose what I want to see. One just shows me if I click on radar. This is purely just the radar image for our area, and as you can see, there's not a lot going on in New York State right now. There is some what looks like snow coming in from the west, but when this video is being recorded, it's the end of January. It's a cold, sunny day here, so not a lot of weather in our area today. I have other views, radar and lightning. This is going to look very similar because there's no lightning in the area. If I were to zoom out, and I checked before we started the video, there's no lightning in the country right now, so I can't show you what that looks like. But this would track real-time lightning strikes, both cloud to cloud and cloud to ground. And those would show up, and you'd be able to see those real-time as they occur. I've got also screens set up for they all include radar, but I've got some with national warning, one with temperatures, which we'll come to, one with actual infrared satellite, and another for winter severe weather. But if we look at, say, for example, temperatures, if you want to see what's actually going on real time, you want to look at weather stations, You can set that up to do that. It gets a little cluttered when you do that because you see there's a lot of weather stations. There's a lot of data out here. Binghamton University is installing its own weather station. That will be installed the spring semester of 2022. At the time of this recording, that system is not up and running yet, so it does not pop up on this map. It will when the system is installed and connected. Right now, if we were to look at Broome County, the closest weather station is the Broome County Airport. And so that is here. On any one of these weather stations, and they're kind of shaped and color-coded based on the ownership, if you will, of the weather station. The circles, I believe, are National Weather Service stations or airports. Some of the other devices, they're actual EarthNetworks weather stations, which is what ours will be. Some that are owned privately, but that are tied into the Earth network. So the color coding and the shape all has something to do with basically the ownership of the station. If we were to click though on the airport, where it's currently 11 degrees, it'll bring a pop-up box to the right side of the screen. You're going to see current temperatures and some real basic information. We can get a little more detail by clicking on this plus sign at the bottom to extend that information. It gives us a little bit more information. But in the bottom right corner, we can actually go to the weather station, and it's got what they call an online weather center. This is going to open another tab in your browser. And now we're looking at the actual weather station up at the airport. They have the airport has chosen to connect this to a video camera that's not associated with the weather station. And if I remember correctly, this video camera changes each day, so they're just randomly selecting video feeds, I believe. But otherwise, you can see some real-time data that the weather station is picking up right now. You can also see a 10-day forecast, or on a tab we can click the hourly forecast, and you can see, if we hit show all on the bottom, you can see the hour-to-hour forecast for several days, and it gives you temp, chance of precipitation, and a few more pieces of information that may be helpful to you. And you can just scroll through this and see what we're looking at as far as forecasted information. The station also has some graphs you can look at, from hourly observations, daily, and even a station graph. If I click on that, it's looking at today. But if I look at, say, the last 7 days, I click up on that. You can see, again, it's end of January. It's been pretty cold with a high just above, looks like 25 degrees there, and a low of, -9 degrees not too terribly long ago, a couple days ago. This opened another window, so we can close that window. Back to the weather station. And again, this will allow us to view the university's weather station once it's up and running, and so you can access it this way. I'll go ahead and close this tab, and we'll end up back at the map. And then I'm going to close this station, but I'm also in this little arrow in the middle. I can close that pop out. So I'm back to the full map. And then I'm going to go back up to the different views that have been created, and I'm just going to select one of the others. I'm going to just get a basic one, just so it's a little less cluttered for training purposes. So now, one of the first things you're going to want to do is create a customized view. You're going to have to decide what information is important to you, and then you're going to be able to create that map so you can see that information. The first thing you're going to want to do to start is go up here to this drop-down box and click Add. And it's going to add a new view. And in this case, I am going to just add a screen that says Demo for demo purposes. Click the checkbox for the Save View, and we will close that. And you can see the vendor has defaulted to having a lot of things on. So it's a very cluttered screen right now. But if we look in the middle of the screen to the left, there is a little compass icon. And I'm going to click on that, and you're going to get a pop-out. That pop-out lists all of the different options and different ways you can customize this product. Custom layers provide some way to import maps, and I don't believe we have any to import, but boundaries. I'm going to go through these very quickly. But boundaries, if you say you wanted to turn on the U.S. State boundary, just so you can see where the U.S. is and where some of the states are, I toggled that on, and now we've got some dark lines for New York State and the other states. We can do the same thing with counties. If we toggle that on, again, going to get a little busy, but that's there if you would like to have that. I'm going to toggle that back off. Current observations. So if we look at this drop-down arrow, you can see temperature is already selected. If I toggle that off, all those weather stations are going to go away. So let's do that. We turn off temperature. So now those aren't popping right up automatically in our screen. And there's a variety of other options. Even looking down at wet bulb temperature for staff in athletics who may want to see that kind of information. You can turn that on. If you do, it's going to provide the latest reading for that particular station if it's capable of measuring that data point. I'll turn that back off. I will minimize current observations, but as you can see, it's temperature, dew point. It's got a variety of data points that you can turn on if you so choose. Forecast information, if you want to look at daily highs or lows, radar and satellite. So as we toggle this on, excuse me, you can see radar and satellite are both toggled on. There's not a lot going on radar today, so if we were to turn radar off, you're not going to see much of a change. So I'll leave that on. A little bit of change up in Canada and the Great Lakes. But the satellite, if I turn the satellite off, you see quite a bit drops off the satellite infrared. So I'll leave that toggled on for now too. Lightning. So if you're interested in tracking lightning, again, there's nothing going on right now, but you can toggle the different settings. It's got flashes and pulses so you can see where the strikes are. Cell tracks, so you can see the direction that the lightning storm may be moving in, and then alert polygons. These polygons are created by the National Weather Service, and they will draw the polygons, and this will allow you to view those polygons so you can see the potential warning areas for incoming lightning. I'll go ahead and turn those on, but again, there's no lightning in the area, so you're not seeing any data pop up with that. Severe weather, if you would like to view on the more severe side, rain, snow, freezing rain, flood information, you can toggle that on. And I'm going to toggle on, let's see, snow probability forecast, because I happen to know there's a storm coming up the coast this weekend. I'm going to turn that on and look at the probability of 4 inches of snow within the next 2 to 3 days. And if I turn that on, we're going to see, boom, there's probability. So for Broome County, we're not seeing a forecast for snow right now, but up the coast there is. But we don't know what these colors mean yet, right? They're just telling us we can assume the red is more severe, the yellow is less severe, the orange is somewhere in between. But it's not giving us any data on that yet, so we'll come to that in just a couple minutes. So have a little patience, and we will get there. Tropical weather, not a big concern for Broome County, New York, and then alerts. So if you want to see graphically on the map where the National Weather Service has issued alerts, any kind of watches or warnings, you can see those graphically and you'll see where those appear. All right, so we got a bunch of different things going on the map right now, but I'm going to click on this compass icon again. That will push that slide out back to the left. And now I'm going to come over back to the right side in this arrow, and I'm going to open up a slide out on this side. Now what you're seeing is for every layer that we just toggled onto the map, there's now options for those layers. The last one I happened to select was this probability for snow, and you can see that right at the top. It's the description is greater than 4 inches of snow probability for the next 2 to 3 days. I can set the opacity here, so if I want to be able to see a little bit more detail through the colors, I can play with that. But there's also an opportunity to put a checkbox here, and that's for the legend for those colors. So if I click on that, and I'll slide this back out of the way for a second. So now we're looking at those 3 colors, but now we're also looking at, the red is a 70% probability of 4 inches of snow, and then if we look out to the yellow, it's only a 10% probability. Gives us some context for the data we're looking at. I'll go back and open the right-hand pop-out. Lightning polygons, again, you can animate things. I believe the software will only let you animate one thing at a time, so you'd have to come back in and click on what you want to animate at any particular moment. Since there's no lightning, I'll pass that. But if we look at the global satellite, the infrared, I'll go ahead and animate that. If I click on that, what's going to happen, and I'll close this slide out for a minute. We got a bar at the bottom of the screen, and it's giving you a 12-hour period from 10 to 10. So 10 o'clock last night to 10 o'clock this morning. And now the infrared satellite image is actually being animated through those last 12-hour periods. You can do that with a variety of things. In this case, it's just the satellite. If we had radar active, we could animate the radar. There's just no active weather in our geographic area today, so there's nothing to animate. I'll go ahead and turn off the satellite at the moment. The boundaries, those U.S. boundaries, again, you can change the color, you can change the thickness of the line if you wanted to make it a little smaller. You can customize it the way you want. I'm going to go ahead and close this slide out. So let's say this is exactly what I was looking for. I wanted infrared and the snow warnings and lightning and stuff turned on. That's great, but I haven't saved any of this. In order for you to make sure you keep this, you've got to go back up top, make sure you've got, in this case, I named it Demo. To the right of it is a Save button. I'm going to save that. It's now saved, so if I were to click back to one of my previous default menus, I can look and just look at the radar, and then if I want to go back to Demo and select back to that, it's going to go back to what I had saved, and it's got all the views that I want. Again, I would strongly recommend you deciding what views are important to you and creating multiple drop-down menus here. If you put too many things on one screen, it just gets hard to interpret the data. It gets a little cluttered, a little clumsy, and you lose some of the flexibility with animating what you want to see or putting the right legend on that you want to see. So create multiple views, and you will have much greater flexibility and ease of use when you want to find something quickly. And so that's gonna end the short tutorial today. The Office of Emergency Management is available if you have questions and would like to talk to somebody about this system. We can do our best to find answers for you. There is a help button up in the top right corner that gets you to all the product documentation. But if you'd like to reach out and speak with someone from the Office of Emergency Management, you can either email us at oem@binghamton.edu, or you can call our office at 607-777-3545. And again, for individuals in athletics, your starting point should be sports medicine. And if they're not available, don't hesitate to reach out to OEM as well. Good luck, stay safe, and thanks for watching.